RVBN, The Rich Video Blog Network, home to weekly NFL predictions, great personality profiles, top 10 list of everything and anything, sports video blogs, professional wrestling video blogs, entertainment video blogs, MBTA video blogs, a whole lot more. A collection of my work has been compiled since June of 2014 on Facebook and YouTube. Check it out, RVBN, Belleville, Massachusetts, the only video blog website in the internet that matters. Good evening, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. This is Rich again, back for your second and final video blog of the night for Tuesday, November 15th, 2016, around 8:11 in the evening in Belleville, Massachusetts. It's raining out right now. It's about like 50 degrees. It's beneficial rain, but this is not going to be a drought buster. We probably need several days of soaking rain. Some news to report on the RVBN Newswire. Terry Francona of the Cleveland Indians won AL Manager of the Year, while Dave Roberts of the LA Dodgers won NL Manager of the Year. So congratulations to them. And that's about it on that. And be back in a flash with my second and final video blog of the night. You can advertise on the RVBN video blogs. Send in a plug of your business or a shout out for a very important person in your life. I take all requests. Private message me, RVBN. I'm back. My second and final video blog subject of the night is about the lunchpail game / attaché case. This was the era of the Boston Bruins from 1974 through 1979, when Don Cherry coached the Bruins. And this was a transitional period from the Boston Bruins, from the big bad Bruins, who had a lot of the skill players like Bobby Orr, Phil Esposito, Derek Sanderson, Johnny Busick, and so many others. Many of these players from the big bad Bruins era were either retiring or got traded to other teams, and they had like a new bunch of players. And Don Cherry was a career minor league defenseman, and he coached the Bruins farm team for a few years before getting the call to head up Boston. And Don Cherry was a very flamboyant and electric coach, and he strongly encouraged physical play from the Bruins, and it modeled the play after his terrier Blue. Don Cherry had many terriers named Blue over the years, and most of the players that played for the Bruins during the Don Cherry era were grinders and enforcers, such as Terry O'Reilly and John Rattel and Peter McNabb and Stan Jonathan and Brad Park, among others. The number one goaltender for the Boston Bruins during this time period was Gilles Gilbert. He was a decent number one goaltender, and it was balance over brilliancies for the Boston Bruins. Many of the Bruins players were not, during this time period, were not the major stars of the NHL, and they were one of the most successful teams during this time period. And the Bruins won 4 Adams Division titles during the time period that Don Cherry was coach, making the Stanley Cup playoffs all 5 years, and he would always go deep into the playoffs each and every time Don Cherry coached the team. He won the 1976 Jack Adams Award as the Coach of the Year for the NHL, and with Don Cherry's Bruins, in 1977-1978, the Boston Bruins set an NHL record by having 11 players score at least 20 or more goals. Peter McNabb, Terry O'Reilly, Bobby Schmutz, Stan Jonathan, John Littell, Rick Middleton, Wayne Cashman, Greg Shepard, Brad Park, Don Marcotte, and Bob Miller. So a lot of these were mainly 20 goal scorers. Peter McNabb led with 441. You'll never see an NHL team again have 11 players on their roster to score 20 or more goals in the season. The Bruins were very balanced during this time period with offense. And the one thing that Don Cherry did not accomplish with the Boston Bruins during his time as coach, he never led them to a Stanley Cup championship, because the Montreal Canadiens were a dynasty during this time period in the NHL. They won 4 straight Stanley Cups. Usually the Boston Bruins and Montreal Canadiens would meet in Stanley Cup playoffs. 1977 and 1978, they met in the finals. Both times the Montreal Canadiens beat the Boston Bruins easily. But in 1979, many experts says the Boston Bruins had so much the grinders that they could have easily overtaken Montreal in the Stanley Cup semifinals. In 1979, it was the Boston Bruins facing off against Montreal Canadiens that went to a Game 7. The Boston Bruins were up by 1 goal with a minute and a half to play in the Montreal Forum, and a lot of people saying that was it for the Montreal dynasty, but it was the infamous too many men on the ice game, which the Bruins had an extra skater. Montreal scores with seconds to play, and in overtime Montreal beats the Bruins, eliminating them from the Stanley Cup playoffs, and they win the 4th straight Stanley Cup. And a couple of days later, the Don Cherry era, the lunchpail game / attaché cage era of the Boston Bruins was over, because General Manager Harry Sinden fired Don Cherry from his job, which stunk big time, because Don Cherry was a great coach, but Harry Sinden and Don Cherry had a lot of differences how the direction the Bruins were going. The Bruins were very, very great with Don Cherry as head coach. He compiled a record of 231, 105, and 64 during the regular season. 31 wins and 24 losses during the playoffs. So he was a very successful Bruins coach, in my humble opinion. Took him many years to forgive what happened, being fired by the Bruins after the Game 7 incident. And I have a lunch pail game T-shirt with the lunch pail, and this was probably one of the best Bruins eras of all time, in my humble opinion. And that's about it on the lunch pail game, and I'll be back tomorrow. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google Plus, with 3 more video blogs coming for you. First video blog will be the personality profile. Tomorrow's personality profile will be about the late great former professional wrestler Baron Mikel Secluda. Second video blog will be Week 11 NFL predictions. And third and final video blog of the night will be about FS1. Keep calm, everybody. I'm a Julie Bunning guy. Molly Rose Blood of WCCO Roxanne has nice legs. Elizabeth Hutt so stunning. She's the best. Amy Squeezy's awesome Amy. Linda Church of WPIX Channel 11 New York. Such a rocking cougar's got the best legs in New York City. And Bobby Gibbs of ABC 11 has a sweet southern accent. And in the words of Dr. Tom Shockey, former principal of BMHS, this action will not be tolerated. BMHS. Good night, everybody.